Why don't oysters like to give to charity?
Why?
Because they're selfish. Alright guys, settle down. I know that one was a real trip taker. Now, not every child gets to enjoy laughter like you guys obviously just did, but Gabby, our next speaker, has worked tirelessly with Operation Smile to see that no child is denied the right to smile and laugh.
Hi guys, I'm Gabby, and I recently returned from Ghana. I was there from January 14th through January 27th on a mission trip with Operation Smile. So ever since I've been a little girl, I've always loved to help people. I mean, I was the girl, I didn't really like playing dress up, but I loved to play doctor. So when I got to high school and I got involved with Operation Smile, I really fell in love with it. For those of you who don't know, Operation Smile is an organization that provides free surgeries to children suffering from cleft palate and cleft lips. So cleft lips and cleft palates, they prevent a child from being able to breathe or eat or smile normally like a child without these medical deformities would be able to. So when I got involved with Operation Smile, I was super excited. I mean, one, I got to meet around all of my friends and people in the group who were also passionate about helping people. And at the same time, we were doing something that wasn't just on a school level or a national level, but it's an international cause. So when I first joined the club, we had our president, Anna Fredrickson at the time. She returned from her mission trip, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. Like, when I get older, I want to be just like her. I want to go on a mission trip. But then I realized how difficult it really is to get accepted to a mission. Every year, when you apply for a mission trip or a mission training, only 30 to 40 students throughout the entire United States are accepted. So when I applied in November, it was with the high hopes that maybe I could be like Anna Fredrickson, maybe I could go somewhere really cool and be able to help people. And a month later, actually on my birthday, December 19th, I found out that I would get this opportunity. Not only would I get the opportunity though, but I would be leaving in less than a month. So when I left January 14th and finally arrived in Ghana, the first thing that hit me was the heat. When I left JFK Airport on January 13th, it was about 30 degrees. I was wearing my big jacket, and when I arrived in Tamale, it was 100 degrees. The first thing that struck me when I got into Tamale though was the complete culture shock. When we rode in the bus to the hospital and then to the hotel, all around us there were people everywhere on the streets. They were riding on motorcycles, and women were carrying giant things on their head. I mean, they had things ranging from fruits to Tupperware, and they were all selling it. And another thing that struck me was when we walked through the marketplace, the kids loved to be around us. All of a sudden, I would be walking there, and I would ask one child to take a photo, and in a matter of minutes, it would be a circle around me, 4 children deep. And all they wanted to do was touch me and to smile and to play with me. And even though we didn't speak the same language, it was an amazing experience. I felt like I could understand them, that we were actually like being able to have a conversation. It was just incredible and so much fun to see how like smiles and laughter could go beyond cultural boundaries as you would normally think of them. So as a child and throughout my youth and even throughout high school, I developed a passion for medicine. And through TV shows such as Grey's Anatomy, I kind of became obsessed with surgery. I mean, the idea of having a Patrick Dempsey in a surgery room with me was kind of amazing. So on my mission trip, I actually got to go in an OR. And an OR means an operator. And when I was in there, the first surgery I went into was for a cleft palate surgery. I went in with a little boy, his name was Felix. You guys can see a picture of him in a little bit on a video. But he had a cleft palate. He was only 2 years old. And I went with him through the entire process. So we started with screening. And screening is when you have patients come in from all over the country. We even had a patient come from a country different than Ghana, and she didn't even speak the Ghanaian language. She was only fluent in French. So we had people come from literally all over the world to this one mission site. And he came with his mother, and I went with him through the screening process to when he was accepted, to when he was lying on the operating bed. And I helped him put his anesthesia mask on. And right after they did the anesthesia mask, they Dr. Solomon, and he was from Kenya. And this time it was with cleft lip surgery. And what's interesting in this case, I mean, not only did I sit through the entire surgery start to finish, but the patient, she was 21 years old, and she was awake the entire time during the surgery. When they go through the screening process, they ask the patient if you're pregnant or not, and she said no. But after they ran the blood testing, much to her happiness and kind of sadness at the same time, she found out she was pregnant. So then they had to reject her for the surgery, but once spaces opened up during surgery week, they called her back and she could get the surgery. So while she was lying in the surgery bed, she could only go under local anesthesia, meaning that while the area around her mouth where they were doing the surgery, she wouldn't be able to feel anything, she was wide awake. So I held her hand the entire time, and the nice thing about the surgery was that 2 days later, because the hospital was located so close to the patient shelter, I could actually visit her. And I went and visited her. I was like, hi, how are you doing? I got to take more pictures standing next to her, and then I would report back to the doctor. It was so exciting for me to show him and be like, hey, listen, I took this before shot of her, and now I have the after shot with her. And it was just such an exciting process. And you know, while I was in the moment, I didn't really think about all the work that we were doing and like what a culture shock it was. I was just trying to take it all in. But when I got home, it really hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, like we were able to give 83 people smiles. When they didn't have them before, they weren't able to do it. And I mean, our oldest patient, she was 72 years old. She had been suffering with this her entire life. She didn't even think there was another way of life for her. But we got to give her that opportunity, that chance to be able to smile, to eat, and to breathe normally. And I mean, it's incredible. Like, I think about it now, and like to me, it almost seems like a dream. Like, you think about like the transformations of people, like almost like magic in a sense. Like, you don't really think that's possible. And recently, I'm a senior, so I've been having some college interviews. And this past Thursday, I had an interview, and a lot of the times they ask me, what are you passionate about? What have you been doing with that passion? So I talked about Operation Smile on my recent mission trip, but most of my friends and family who know me, I don't really show that much emotion in public, especially in terms of like crying. And I started crying. It was in the middle of an interview, actually with Harvard, and I cried. I'm pretty sure that's like the top list of things not to do, but I started crying, and you know, it like still brings tears to my eyes. So like I think of the change that we're able to give to people, and especially the lives of the children, and just how happy they are, and you know, it's really changed me as a person as well. Not just for the lives of the children, but for all the volunteers and doctors that were on the mission as well. So now I would like to show you guys my mission video, and this will go from the process of when I first arrived and landed in Tamale to screening to the surgery days and then afterwards.
To be humble, to be kind, it is a giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way that has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other and nothing more. And to be bold, to be brave, it is the thinking that the heart how we treat each other when the day is done. We are peace, we are war. We are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other, nothing more. We are how we treat each other. To be humble, to be kind,